What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what time it is. You know what day it is. It is Friday, and that means another episode of Seven Figure Friday. Welcome, we have another special guest with us today. Let me get this thing off. All right. So we have another awesome guest with us today. And his name is Mark Harbert. So if you are not familiar with Seven Figure Friday, let me just give you a little bit of background on what Seven Figure Friday is. Each and every Friday, we give you a new person that's in the home-based business arena that has crossed over the what we like to call the 2 Comma Club. Okay, so we're gonna have a really fun interview. If you'd like to see other episodes of Seven Figure Friday, all you got to do is hop over to YouTube, type in Seven Figure Friday, and you'll see all the episodes in the channel. And today's special guest on Seven Figure Friday is my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Harbert. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, dude? It's good to be here, man.
Hey, man. I'm just glad you're here, man. I'm just glad you're here.
Thanks for the invite. I apprappreciate it. It's always good to hang, you know?
Yeah, dude. It wouldn't be Seven Figure Friday without you, man.
Hey, man, it's really always a good time.
Man, so, guys, Mark Harbert is a lead generation expert. I mean, chances are, if you have an email, then you're probably on his list somewhere. Okay? Somewhere on the list. All right, he's a lead generation expert, a video marketing expert, and he is an absolute mindset expert. And this guy knows the ins and out of how the brain works. And I mean, he can get someone going in a way that a lot of people can't. All right. So guys, this is a guy that when he talks, you want to listen to, one of the most down to earth guys on the planet. All right. And he just makes it look so freaking easy, and he can help you do that too. So, Mark, I mean, I just want to say thank you for coming on here today, man.
Of course.
We would appreciate your time. Appreciate all your tutelage over the years too, man. I have to say, when I got into network marketing almost 4 years ago, and I was struggling, man, and I was like, didn't know what the hell to do, and I finally went to the internet. I can say that when I typed in the YouTube, I won't forget this day. It was like probably 3.5 years ago. I typed in how to sell Vima.
Yeah.
And there's your face. And so, dude, from that day, man, I followed you, man. And you know, I've always just looked up to you, man. So you're awesome. And I can proudly say that you were my first, person that I entered information to on the internet about how to grow my business.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, that's a good sign. It's kind of funny, like how many things have come my way just from videos. Like my business manager, Robin, who works for me. Yeah. He came through a video, you know, in MLSP.
That's awesome, man. That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
So a lot's changed too, man. A lot's changed. Yeah. The background's a little different nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the when I lived in Chile, you know, I lived in a like a 50-year-old house, got a green wall. It's pretty interesting.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So before we kick this thing off, guys, let's all agree to some rules. So we may take some questions at the end. If you're digging what Mark is saying, feel free to share this message out, share with your team, share with anyone you know. We're going to keep it very generic. As always, feel free to let Mark know that you're digging it, that you're loving it with emojis. All right. So if you're loving something, you're liking something, let those emojis rock, and let Mark know how much you appreciate him here and after we get off today. All right. So, all right, guys. So if you can agree to that, all right, if you can follow the rules today, just pop a number 1 in the comment section. All right. So my man Mark. So tell us, man. And for those of you that don't know who Mark Harbert is, please go on eBay or Amazon, sell the rock that you live under. Get rid of it, go on OfferUp. You don't even have to sell it, honestly. Just give it away and just throw it away, because you don't want somebody else to say, oh, you know, this is a really nice rock to live under, and then you may not, you know. So just get rid of that rock, and go look him up. I mean, this guy is an absolute beast. But I want to hear your story, man. So, like, what drove you to get into like the home business space?
I mean, like many people, I mean, I was doing air conditioning. I was an air conditioning technician, and I hated it. I mean, I was doing it. It was quote unquote good money, it was a decent job. But it just, I got kind of tired of it, and so when I met this guy, it was funny. I was filling up my truck one time at a gas station. This is in Ohio, when I lived in Ohio, and guy just came up to me at a gas pump, and he said, "Hey, you look like a sharp guy." The same thing we hear today. "Hey, you look pretty sharp. You ever thought about this and that?" And anyway, he started a conversation. I'd never been approached before, so
right.
So anyway, we got talking. I met him at a Denny's restaurant, and I just got started, in home business. And what was interesting though is when I met the guy, what he did is he sat down and he started talking to me, and it was for Amway, which was, dude, if you've been around this industry for any length of time, everybody knows about Amway. Most people have been in it one time or another. It's like the legend of the network marketing industry.
Right, it's like your grandfather.
It's like the grandfather of network marketing. And great company too. But and he just laid out the plan for me. Kind of got me thinking about what I could have, and if time and money were no issue, what would you do? And I had never thought about that before. So he got me thinking about what would I do? And from that day forward, man, I was like I got a vision of what I wanted. And for me, to be honest with you, like we have a beautiful house. I love our house, and it's just in a typical middle class neighborhood. For me, it's never been about like fancy cars and big houses and, private jets and all. I could care less about any of that, man. Like for me, it's always been about choices.
Bro,
choices. That's really what it's always been about, just choices. And so for me, that was really my driving factor. And how I got started was I just wanted to be able to go on a vacation without having to ask somebody. Right. Like I wanted to go do what I wanted to do without having to ask for permission to do it. And to me, that was the driving factor. I'm kind of a rebel in a sense. Like I'm the easiest guy in the world to get along with. Like if you can't get along with me, the problem's probably you. It's not me, because I can get along with anybody. If I totally disagree with you philosophically, I'm your best friend, man. I can. And so for me, it's kind of like, but I'm still that kind of rebel. I got that little rebel streak in me too.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Got to buck the system.
Yo, so I want to ask something about that whole situation though, man. So gas station, Denny's is the typical, that's like, so everyone on here should be prospect at the gas station, go to Denny's, and it's a wrap, right? Like that's pretty much the way.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I hit six figures the very next month. It was pretty amazing.
So gas station, Denny's. Would you say, I mean, obviously, everything aligned, and he just kind of opened your eyes. I've heard a lot of really, really good mentors. I've heard you say this before. I mean, you've got to alter the way people see themselves, not really sell them on something. And was he able to kind of do that? Like, at Denny's, he just kind of altered the way you saw yourself and saw your vision.
What was interesting about it is he did not pitch me product. It wasn't about how awesome it was. It wasn't. It was about showing me what a potential future could look like. It wasn't hypey. It wasn't, the way he recruited me was really a legitimate way to recruit, and I look back on that and I think, and he just kind of said, if you could do the things that you wanted to do, what would you do? And he got me thinking about that because nobody had ever, got me to think of that way before. And so that was the start. And so I ended up being in this industry for quite a while until I had any success, because even though I was excited about the potential future, I had to do a lot of changing up here. And, I used to be a very shy person, think about getting me up in front of people to speak. That would never happen, and so it's just very different. My mentality is so different than what I used to be. I'm not shy anymore. I'm not afraid to say what I think, of course I tend to do it in a nice soft way where people can get it most of the time. But,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So one of the questions that I want to ask you, I think you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but you said that, like, as you talk about that change that you were making, especially up here. So how'd your beliefs change? Because, we always hear, like, beliefs lead to actions and results.
Yeah.
Were you always that person that had, like, really strong beliefs, or did you have to, like, adopt some new beliefs to get the results that you've gotten today?
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally had to change the way I thought, because really being an entrepreneur is a totally different way of thinking.
Right.
And if you try to apply what I call business, employee mentality in this space, it ain't going to work.
Right.
So the biggest recognition one has to have is that you've got to think different. Business owners think differently than employees. And it's not to say, that being an employee is bad. That's not that at all. That's not to imply that at all. But it's very important to understand that when you come into this space, you've got to think differently. So I knew that. So I would listen to Jim Rohn. I would be out in my car listening to Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, all kinds of people, just inundating my brain with what they shared in their teachings, and so that really helped change my beliefs for sure.
Well, that's awesome. And just that all that stuff was just kind of flooding in, and
over time, that a little bit every day, it just, starts changing the way you think.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. So, so when you were, and when was that? Just by the way, like, when was that epic Denny's meeting that we're all like?
That was back in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. We're talking 17 years ago. Yeah. And I didn't. So that day I got involved in the industry, but I didn't have my first 6-figure year until 2012. Man. And so I stuck with it a long time. And I think my biggest year, to be honest with you, was probably not even $10,000, but it was just a matter of just sticking with it, keep with it, keep moving, keep going, keep doing the thing,
So was that around the time you started to, like, take your business online and really start?
Yeah. Oh, getting a call.
Is that our garage guy?
Yeah, it's our garage guy. He can wait.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? But yeah, I mean, for me, no, I didn't start bringing my business online until about 2008.
Okay.
And because I ran into the same thing that everybody else runs into all the time, and that is I ran out of people to talk to. My warm market was toast, and it was just a non-deal. I could never get past, like, a certain amount of people. And I was determined to master lead generation. Right. And for me, that was the deal. And I think personally, lead generation's gotten so much easier nowadays than even back then, Right. So much easier to do videos today. I mean, my gosh, just the process to do a dang video, 6-7 years ago, man. I had to have a little flip camera, and then you got to plug it into the thing, and then you got to download it, and then you got to upload it, and you got to do, it was just like, now it's like on the cell phone, it's super easy.
Right. I mean, it's like clockwork, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about lead generation. I definitely wanted to bring this up, so I'm glad you did. Even though you said, hey, lead generation videos are extremely easy. I mean, you're definitely known as, like, the video guy, in the home business space. What's your? I also feel like some people, and there may be some people on here, and let us know, like, a number 2 if you feel this way. But I feel like some people may feel like lead generation is kind of, like, overplayed because they see things, generate leads, and it's just everywhere. Yeah. But can you kind of go into, like, the importance of the really, because nothing starts unless you generate a lead.
Yeah.
We all want to make money. We all want to make sales and, rank advance. But, like, if without a lead, then nothing really starts. So does that make sense? Can you go into that real quick?
Yeah. And I think, the key with lead generation is really, it's just a targeted message to a targeted audience, really. I think the biggest thing is, especially see the way I do lead generation is I tend to go after like audiences who don't know who I am.
Okay.
So the way I look at it is in my little ecosystem of people I'm around, I see lead generation all the time because I'm surrounded by people who are all working to generate leads. So I see it all the time. But the people that are not in my little ecosystem, they don't see it all the time. You see? And you've always got new people coming into the industry. So even though sometimes we may think a message is tired, it's kind of the same thing. Yes, to us who've been around a while, we see it, we think it's tired, but you'd be surprised. Like in some of my ads, I've gone back to what Mike Dillard used to teach, right? When he got going.
Right. And nobody's seen that before.
How to generate leads without cold calling, buying leads or bugging your friends and family. And my gosh, that's some of the highest converting stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cause it's just it's that simple message that, and we've always got new people coming in. I think I forget the guy's name, Richard Brooke Bliss, I think, wrote a book. And in it, he said, over 140,000 people every single week join network marketing.
Yeah.
So there's always new people coming in.
Right. Yeah. So, and then you take in the fact that, it's like millions of people are turning 18 too. It's like, and they're looking for something else and they're graduating college. And so those are awesome numbers, man.
Yep.
So that's awesome because you kind of like found a way to not necessarily like create a niche, but like you've gotten in the blue ocean again and you kind of step out of the red bloody ocean and just say, oh, you know what, I'll just go somewhere where no one sees that message 40 times a day.
Yeah.
Right. And
this is why, I'm really, you got to think the way I do things is I try to think 10 steps ahead of where everybody else is thinking, you know. I'm usually that guy who's like, okay, everybody's going this way. Something's over here I need to look at, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how you stand out from a crowd, you know?
Right. No, that's awesome, man. That's real. So, I think most people just are in a place where they're afraid to think. So that first step of like that fear of like, oh, if I go over there, I'm all alone over there. Right. So, do you ever have that like thought process, or is it just such a muscle now? Or did you kind of like when you first started thinking that way of like, I am going to go over here. Like, did you have that same kind of fear kick in or
yeah. What? And I think what you just said is very, very key. People are like, well, I might be all alone. It's like, if you really want to get noticed, man, that's one way to really do it. Like look at what everybody else is doing and then try to do something that is totally different.
Right.
And I guess it's not totally different, but something to stand out. Like, so for me, it's like, if I'll give you an example, like, sometimes you'll see like somebody will do this amazing training and they'll show how they did this training. And then next thing happens, you see all these people that start doing it exactly the same way that person showed them how to do.
Right.
And next thing you know, you've got tons of people all doing the same thing, same message. All you've got to do is step outside that a little bit, do it a little different, and you immediately stand out.
Boom.
No,
so that's key right there.
Yeah.
Key right there. If you're like any paying attention to that was a nugget. I mean, usually you don't have to like say like, hey, that was a nugget, but like we'll go ahead and say like that was a nugget right there. So, yes. That's awesome, man. So I noticed you've done like a lot of groups and things like that and launch products, and I know you've got the 30-day biz blitz going on.
Yeah.
When you guys do those groups and launch products and stuff, I know there's always a certain amount of people that come out of those things producing some serious results.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the person that goes through one of your courses, goes through one of your boot camps or intensives or whatever, Is there like a certain characteristic that you just know that you could just kind of pick out the ones that are going to come out of those things with good results?
I can usually tell just by what's amazing is I can usually tell, like, I'll give you an example. If I get on the phone with somebody within 15 seconds, I can tell just by how they talk.
Really?
Whether they're going to, I mean, I've talked to so many people, like you can immediately begin to tell based upon what comes out of their mouth. Oh, I'm just this. It's almost like kind of that little bit of I'm so woe is me type of, right. And I'm not being crude about it, but it's, right. You can tell, and maybe they've got some stuff going on in their life that's tough, but when I talk to people that are like, they have a more of a confidence, they're like, this is really what I'm looking for. I'm excited to get going in this. It's something I really want to go. I'm like, cool. That's the kind of person I want to work with.
Right.
That, like, when you hear somebody say, well, is this going to work? Because I've tried all kinds of other different things. And I'm like, you know what? Probably not.
Yeah.
This may not be what you want, Right. So you start to learn based upon when you work with a lot of people all the time, you start to hear it. And I'm sure you've seen the same thing, Ryan. You can tell just by how people are talking in their demeanor, whether they're going to, but then again, you may get the surprise that pops out, Right. So you just got to kind of weigh it and see.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's something that I think it's said almost every week on this show. You got to, have that definitive confidence about what you want and in yourself, or you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah. All right. The garage door guy is knocking on my door right now. So if you want to talk to your peeps, give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. So I'll stall him. Go
all right. Stall me. I'll be right back.
So just so you guys know, what happened is their garage door went down today, and then it's so heavy. Their garage door is so heavy, and if you guys don't know, they live in Southwest Florida, so they have to have an extremely heavy garage door. So the garage door went down. All the cars are in the garage, so nobody can get out for the day. So Mark is going to go get the garage door guys so they can actually get their cars out. All right. So what we want to do as Mark's gone before he comes back, we'll get your questions ready. And also too, like if you guys are getting value from this, share it, click the share button. And if you did share, just comment the word shared below. That way we can tell who shared. We give you a shout out for sharing this message. All right. And if you have a question for Mark, feel free to post your questions. I can see questions over to the right. So feel free to post your questions up, and we'll definitely do our best to get to your questions and answer them live. All right. So Whitney, appreciate you sharing this out. Let's see who else shared. Let me know. Say the word shared and comment if you shared. I think I saw Michael share this earlier. So appreciate you sharing, guys. Mark, thanks for sharing, dude. You rock, bro. Awesome. So appreciate you sharing. You guys are rock stars for sharing. Awesome. So what do you guys want to know from Mark as I stall while he goes and talks to the garage door guy? Evelyn, thanks for sharing. Evelyn. You rock. Awesome. Good to see you here today. And again, guys, you can pop your questions up too, and we'll definitely do our best to get to every single question on 7 Figure Friday. If you want to see other episodes of 7 Figure Friday, head over to my YouTube channel, okay? And all you got to do is type in 7 Figure Friday, and you'll be able to find all the episodes with people like Ray Higdon and Kate McShay, Austin Zuloff, John Melton, Brian Fryer was on there. So we've got a ton of 7-figure earners and a ton to come up, as well as feel free to tag any 7-figure earner that may be in your company or someone in the home business industry that you just absolutely love. Feel free to either shoot me a personal message and we'll get them on the show, or just tag them in one of our videos and we'll reach out to them and get them on the show too. So if there's somebody that you want to see on 7 Figure Friday, either let me know or tag them, and we'll definitely reach out to them and we'll get them on the show. So if you got somebody in your company or somebody that you just love in the industry, let them know, okay? Or let me know. Let me know. Let them know. It's all good, all right? All right. So who else is there? Oh, Crystal, thanks for sharing. Crystal, appreciate you sharing. All right. All right, cool. Got some questions coming in, so we'll definitely get to your guys' questions as soon as Mark gets back. So feel free to invite some people too. You can right next to the share button, or if you press the share button, you'll see a way to invite some cool friends. Emilio, thanks for sharing, bro. You're awesome. All right, we'll definitely go over some live video stuff too, guys. All right. So is everyone having an awesome day? Is everybody having an awesome day already? I know I am. We're having a freaking awesome week. Hopefully everybody else out there is having an awesome week too. As I invite some people, which you should be doing right now. Right, so awesome. Thanks guys for hanging with us. We figured that this garage guy would show up right in the middle of this. Appreciate you popping on, Jesse. Awesome. Yeah, we figured our luck would be that this garage guy would show up right in the middle. So Brandon, what's up, dude? Is it better to create YouTube specific videos or repurpose your Facebook Lives? Cool questions. Good questions.
All right. Woo. Man. All right. He's here. Got to fix the garage door. So, oh, man.
Can't get out of the house.
Oh.
And it's a Friday, too. I'm sure they probably like.
I know, man. I know. Cool. So, sorry about that, guys. We're back.
We're good. We're good. So, we got some questions pouring in, man. You want to take some questions from the crowd?
Sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. We got some good ones in here too, man. They you thought I was going to bring some algebra questions. These guys went crazy, man. So Mark Ward, he says, can you go over your process for a live video really quick?
So like a live video?
Yeah.
So my process for doing a live video, sometimes I think I'm through a little bit, like what do I want to share? But sometimes I'm like, hey, let's do a live video. What do I want to talk about? Okay, let's talk about it. And I'll just hop on and start talking about it, you know? Sometimes I don't put a lot of thought into it. I just do it and that's it. But there are times where, hey, I might want to do something cool, really share something good, give some value to my email list or my audience, and I'll blast it out. Hey, join me on my page at this time, and I'm going to do something cool. So I honestly, my process is so simplified. Like I do not stress about processes. It's just get it out there and then utilize it.
Right. I think that's huge. Yeah. Why stress over a big process, especially with how easy live video is? Like just get out there and do them and.
Easy, man.
Audience, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, just keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. Right. I like this one from Evelyn Keller. She says, is it better to create YouTube specific videos or repurpose your Facebook Lives? And I'm guessing she's saying repurpose your Facebook Lives on YouTube.
Yeah, you can definitely repurpose them onto YouTube. When it comes to like doing a lot of ranking, if that's your goal, you might want to put a little effort into a video and make it specifically for YouTube. And it really depends. I mean, if you have a big subscriber base, to be honest with you, like my big focus has been video all around. Like I'm not just a YouTube guy, and I've got like 6 or 7 channels out there. just have videos. I still get leads on them all the time. But they're not like, it's like I haven't put a huge focus on getting a ton of subscribers. It's never been like my big thing. I like to be on Facebook because that's where the majority of people are. However, there are a ton of people on YouTube as well. So you keep that in mind. But I think personally, if you wanted to be strategic about it, make content specifically for YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the way things are going with YouTube, it's very different than Facebook in the sense that if you're going to do YouTube, you might want to learn some type of good editing, do some things that make it a little bit more conducive to higher quality videos. Yeah. You know, because that's the stuff that tends to do better.
Yep. So. Yeah. If you look at what performs well on YouTube, it's like really good edited videos that get views. I mean, that's the thing. If you want to be effective on YouTube, you got it. They really watch how long someone watches your video because that's they like that stuff. So yeah. But I mean, definitely, you know, repurpose your content. I mean, that's huge.
Yep.
So it looks like we got some. Looks like there's a few MLSP peeps on here. You got the Honey Badger shirt rocking. So here's a good MLSP type question. For those of you that don't know what MLSP is, it's a affiliate marketing company for network marketers. It shows you how to get leads. It'll show you how to communicate with people effectively and you know, ultimately rank advance and do much better in your company than you might be already doing. So MLSP is a cool little thing, and got some MLSP peeps on here today. All right. So Whitney says, with network marketing, do you approach more people for that business or MLSP, or get them for MLM business from using MLSP? So hopefully that made sense.
Yeah. So I definitely have two different, you know, there's two different ways you go about it. They're two different programs, so to speak. But really, the approach is kind of the same. I mean, the way you would promote MLSP is kind of the same way you would promote your primary program or your main network marketing company. Is you do it through providing value. I mean, let's say you have a health and wellness. Okay, you could go out there on your videos and talk about how great your product is and all this stuff. Why not become like the health tips gal, or, you know, the body transformational dude or something, you know what I mean? You focus on providing value rather than just constantly talking about the products, the same thing. So you got to find like that niche. Let's say you're in a travel company. Maybe you do videos all about travel tips and you're giving all kinds of cool tips on, hey, maybe you never thought about this, but when you go to the airport, you want to make sure that you don't take this in your bag. And here's some little tips on how to pack your suitcase.
Right.
And hey, if you want to learn how to get more discounts on trips and things, you know, go here and put in your information, and I'll give you my top 10 tips to consider before going on your next vacation.
Right.
You see what I mean? It's a whole different approach. And most people, they think there's a different way to promote. It's not. The only thing different with MLSP is they've kind of got stuff already made for you for a specific demographic, a specific audience. But if you go down that road, you might want to consider making up some of your own stuff as well.
Right, of course. I mean, that stuff is there. You know, we talk to people about that all the time. That stuff is there just to for really the newbie, newbie that has like absolutely nothing, right? It just kind of gets you going, and it's a good place to start.
Right.
You know, we've, I know we've both been coached by Ray, and you know, one of the things that, you know, he always says is create a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, we have a way that we, you know, brand ourselves and promote ourselves, and we don't care whether or not, you know, we are having a conversation about our MLM or MLSP or anything for that matter. How many conversations do you create? Right. Yeah. And if that conversation leads to possibly your MLM, then go that way. Right. If it leads to MLSP or anything for that matter, then go that direction. You know, have you seen that most people, when they have kind of like that main offer and a secondary offer, they think that they have to build two audiences?
Yeah.
You know, and that can be very hard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely it can. Now, and I 100% agree. Like if I'm going to join something and I want to promote it, all I have to think of is how am I going to position it with my current audience?
Right.
And really positioning is a big deal. And I really learned positioning from Ray. Ray's master at positioning stuff in the proper way. And that's something I really got really good at, was thinking through about how am I going to word the messaging so that it makes sense to my audience so that, they can connect the dots.
Right.
And that's really what you're doing, is connecting the dots. But, like for instance, some people will ask me, should I do a separate YouTube channel for talking about, this, and then, talking about marketing tips or things that I want to do for MLSP.
Right.
And in that case, I would suggest you might want to have two channels, because one is talking about marketing, the other may be talking about health and wellness.
Right.
And mixing that up isn't, necessarily going to get you any major brownie points with YouTube. So it's more of a theme, or the overall theme, but in the sense you can still use your audience.
Right. Right.
So.
No, yeah, that's I think that's a big one. And I think when it comes to the audience, I think a lot of people they miss. I feel like, and you can let me know if you agree with this, but like with audiences, it's kind of like a chicken and the egg thing. So like people have what they have to sell, and then they're like, okay, like let me go build the audience that would buy this.
Right.
Instead of like building the audience that would want to hear their message and actually connect with them, and finding things that would actually solve their problem.
Right. Yeah. I mean, building an audience is all about building know, like, and trust with a group of people.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. Like, I know my audience very, very good. I know my audience is very loyal, and I know that. So I also take that very serious in what I promote to them. I do not promote junk. I won't promote crap. I protect them. Like I guard them.
Right.
And my audience knows that. So if I make a recommendation, that's going to carry a lot of weight, because my audience knows that I'm only going to recommend a tool, a training, or something to them if I think it's a good thing. And over time, you build that trust. It's very easy for them to decide, who do I trust, him who I don't know, or Mark who I do know, who's saying this is a good thing. I'd rather get it from Mark because I trust him more.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
And so really when building the audience, and I may even, like, let's say I go off and do something totally, totally different, something totally off the wall. Like, hey, I'm going to become a realtor. I'm just saying. And I could still use my current audience and say, look, this is a current need. If this is something you might have an interest in, here you go. So it's all about how you position it. It really is. Health and wellness, you can tie that into people you're working with, maybe an MLSP.
Right.
I saw, I want to say it was, I saw somebody one time, and they were in a health and wellness, and they had, a pretty good size audience that had to do with like MLSP and marketing and online marketing. And it was like, their headline was, is internet marketing making you fat?
Yeah.
It was perfect, man. It's like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, and really, bro, I mean, it's so, we laugh about this stuff all the time, man, because like you can do what you want as long as you're consistent and you believe in it. Like you can literally like, build anything that if it makes sense to you, you believe in it and you're consistent, you could literally do anything.
Yeah.
I think that me personally, and I'm sure you know this too. I mean, there's no point in having an internet-based business if you're like, just not feeling good, or you're out of shape, or like, or you're in the hospital all the time.
Yeah, it makes total sense, man. Like,
so Amanda's got a good question, and this is how do you find the right people to talk to? I'm so tired of the person that acts interested and then turns out they want to flirt and hook up. I can tell you.
Well, first off, let's just say, Amanda, that is a good thing. That means you're probably a very beautiful woman, that's fantastic.
Right?
That's great. This is a really funny question, because I've actually had, females ask me this before, like, I've had that happen.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but you're probably going to have a difficult time with that because that's, that's just the way it is. I think what it really comes down to is just take what you learned from those specific situations where, guys do that type of thing, or they're, and try and use that wisdom when you're talking with people. If little red flags go up in your brain, listen to them, listen to them. And then just be very cautious from that point forward so you don't spend a whole bunch of time. Don't let the fact that you're very excited that somebody may sign up cloud your vision of where he really wants to go or what he's trying to do, Right. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it did. And we've always been told too, to, you kind of, what was it? You never addicted to the outcome as well. But would you recommend, in terms of like answering the question of like how to find the right people, like, have you recommended someone like just kind of focus on women, if it's kind of a common thing?
Could be. Yeah. And that could be a thing too, as well. I mean, when you think about it, like in the network marketing, home-based business industry, 70% of the industry is women, something like that, some crazy percentage. I mean, so you really got to, think about it. Like, who is your product or service most suited to? And
who's looking for it?
With the overwhelming majority of the industry is women, keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
So
one question that I wanted to ask, because I had a couple things in my notes before we let you go, man. Was it last year you had your first $100,000 day, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I just want to say, one, that's awesome because it shows us that it can be done. But I mean, what led to that? I mean, 17 years, I mean, at 2000, it started at Denny's.
Yeah.
And, last year you had your first $100,000 day. Like, walk us through like the flash of like, of how that happened.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, it's sticking around, going to events, networking, producing results, building an audience. It's just being involved in my industry and being around the right people, connecting. And it's not something that happens overnight. But, when I had that $100,000 day, I launched a new product and I had a lot of top people promoting it. But those top people would not have promoted it had they not known me, had they not seen my content, if they, had not known who I was and the value that I bring. And I attribute that to going to events, seeing people face to face, eating dinner with people, hanging out, networking, getting to know people, getting people on the cell phone, and talking with them and texting back and forth and building a relationship. And that's ultimately, when you really get right down to it, that's what made it really happen. And plus it was a matter of putting out a good product too, a good product that provided a lot of value to those individuals, people's audiences, because I may create a product, but it may not be a fit for someone's audience.
Right.
And so that's a thing. But my goal was to create a product that really had mass appeal, could really work across multiple audiences. And that was my video course that I launched last year.
That's awesome.
And there was a big gaping hole. There was no course like what I had teaching the basics to some of the advanced stuff all in one course.
And I love how you said that. I mean, over that time, 17 years.
Yeah.
And you're going out, you're connecting, you're going to events, you're producing content, you're producing results, right? And then you see the big hole, right? It's like this like big like aha, where like everyone else sees this little hole. You're like, big gaping hole, and you take action on it. So like so just in terms of like how maybe this can help some people. I mean, when you were creating that product, were there some times where you were like, man, like, I may do it, I may not do it, or was it just something that you like saw the hole and you just like hit it like a running back?
That product actually, from when I mapped it out, it took me about 9 months to create. It was just a lot went into putting it together. I think it's a masterpiece, man. I mean, really, like from my point of view, I mean, it is literally, I thought through the brand new person. Yes. What would they deal with? What would they want? You know, and it's like literally walks them through the very beginning stages of video.
Right.
And why even do it? You know, and I go through and I handle all those things so that they have a healthy appreciation for why you do it. And then I teach them how to do it. And then I show them some more of the advanced stuff on how to even get better into that. There's some things I want to add to it as well, you know, but it's just, you know, when you really get down to it, just taking all the time that I've invested in myself, the training, the coaching, all the things I've done, and it's just all wrapped up into one video course.
That's awesome.
And you just, you know, it definitely didn't happen overnight, that's for sure. But like I said, when you stick and stay, you'll get your pay, man. That's really what it gets down to. And I've been here for the long haul, you know, and I don't plan on going anywhere, you know. That's my goal. I'll be here for a long time. So, but I've, you know, give you an example. I've made incredible friends with people like Lisa Grossman.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh, you know, she calls me sometimes and we'll spend 90 minutes on the phone talking about two things that nobody ever talks about, politics and religion, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
she can go on that stuff, man.
We just sit there and talk, you know, we have a good time talking about it. And you know, and she'd be like, well, have you ever thought about this? And then I'm like, no, I haven't. That's pretty good, you know, but we have this really cool relationship, you know, and she's a freaking legend, man.
Man, she's going to be on the show. She's going to be on the show November 10th.
Oh yeah. She's amazing, man. The lady is just a wealth of knowledge, and she's like, you know, multiple millions a year. You know, I mean, the lady's just a rock solid. So making connections like that. And how did I make those types of connections? Just going to events, saying hi. Hey, great to meet you. It's so cool. You know, and just that makes all the difference in the world. And that's why, like, when I tell people, hey, you got to go to events, and people are like, man, I don't know if I want to go to events. I'm like, you just don't get it, man. Like, how do I get into your head and like ring your brain and like make you get it, you know?
Right. I think, the first event that I met you at in 2015, I think, I remember like doing a little video clip of us. It was like 2 years ago. And right after that, I accidentally ran into Lisa Grossman and met her for the first time and been friends ever since. And obviously if I would have gone to that event, I would have met you or Lisa.
Right.
You know? And so got to get to events. You're going to be the same person.
It's so, I don't even know how to like describe it. Like, and just going to events over and over, going to it, getting and meeting, you know, like, I think the first time I ever met Todd Falcone. Right. Todd Falcone has become a great friend of mine, man. Like out of the blue, I'm like, oh, Todd's calling me, you know? And I'm like, and I think to myself, like, this is Todd Falcone. He's such a great guy, an amazing guy. And he just calls me out of the blue and like start asking me some Facebook ad questions or.
That's awesome, man.
And it's just so cool, man. But you know what? The first time I ever met Todd, you know what I said? And I love Todd. I loved his training. And I remember like years ago listening to his training on Cutting Edge Media. You know, he would do like lead calls, like live dials. And, you know, he was doing all this stuff. And I remember hearing him years ago. And the first time I ever met him, I just walked to him and said, hey, Todd, I just want you to know, I absolutely love your training. You're amazing, man. I just want to say pleasure to meet you. You know, and it's just paying homage to, hey, thank you. I got a lot out of your training, you know. But when people do that, I mean, it makes an impression. One of the best ways to make an impression on anybody's mind is just to, you know, share, you know, what they've done, you know, what they've done for you or something like that. And that was my first real interaction with him. But it's just cool to see the kind of connections. Yeah. But that only happened at live events, you know, and just being around and continuing to expose myself to the right people. So.
Man, I cannot back that up enough.
Yeah.
The relationships you can make. And again, I mean, it's one of those things too. I think a lot of people that when they do go to live events, they're not taking advantage of it by going up to the person that you look up to.
Yeah.
You know, taking them to dinner, like do what you have to do. I mean, because you know, everyone's just a normal person, you know, just like you, but you know, you're just taking some abnormal action.
Yeah.
So
that's it, man.
Yeah, man. So, dude, go take care of your garage, man. Like,
I know I got the Sears guy here, so I gotta go.
well, dude, I appreciate you for being on here, man. We appreciate
Yep.
you being on, dude. Guys, if you got value, pop a number 5 in the comment section and reach out to Mark. Let us know too. Did you just started the 30-day blitz, right?
Yeah, I just started it. This is the first full day, actually. People are doing
it. Cool. So can people still get in?
Yeah, if they want to. They want to. We've got the orientation done in the first one. It's literally $47. I mean, it's nothing. I just wanted to get as many people in as possible. Yeah. People can absolutely get in if they want.
Awesome, man. Awesome, dude. Well, guys, hook up with Mark. Go find him, send him a message, literally send him a message today and say thank you. Like, I want this to be the most gratitude and annoying thing. I want you to just like unload his inbox with just like thank yous, I love yous. And dude, we appreciate you for being on the show, man. Yeah, you're awesome.
Hey, I just want to say, Ryan, it's been exciting watching you, man. Literally. Like, it's been what's really cool is like at Live the Dream. I think this is the first time you and I ever really connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was fun to connect and play around and, do our thing. But it's great, man. It's been great to watch you. And you're one of those guys to just people need to be following,
Appreciate it,
so I'm just, hey, man, I'm learning from people like you, bro.
Hey, man. Dude, I'm just
doing the deal, man.
Watching you, bro. So I guess we're watching each other, man.
There you go. It's a reciprocal thing.
All right, brother.
So,
all right, man.
All right, man.
You guys go enjoy your weekend. You enjoy your weekend, my friend Mark, and we'll catch you around, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. See you guys. Great being here. Later.